Welcome to Terror in Tandem, a podcast about finding entertainment in the macabre, hosted by the knowledgeable and lovable Laura Mathiasen, with her sidekick, Richard.
Hi, happy to be here.
Each week, we'll go through the best books, TV, and movies in the horror genre. Now starting.
You can find us online at terrorintandem.com.
Or on Instagram at Terror in Tandem.
Might edit that one a little bit.
Really?
No, it's wonderful.
I can do it now.
That's fine.
You can find us online at terrorintandem.com or on Instagram at Terror in Tandem.
You sure can.
So, yeah, this is our coming attraction episode for the month of February, the Lovers Month, the Friends Month, the Galentines, the Valentines.
Those are all such wonderful
The
ways of
President's
looking at
Days.
it.
And most importantly, it's Black History Month.
Awesome.
So, if anything, February is a month to reflect on the things that really matter.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. So obviously, like any other month, we've got a few things that we're looking forward to in the spooky genre. Our fave.
And this is the shortest month of the year, but
and darkest.
it's filled with horror.
And cold.
There's going to be a lot of options out here.
So cold.
No matter what you decide to do. Read, watch, view.
Play.
I'm very excited about it. So
Nice.
I have 4. You want me to start?
I
Okay.
do.
I'm going to start with what I am so excited about and nervous about.
I think I know where this is going.
So it's a new film called Knock at the Cabin, and it comes out February 3rd, and it's based on the novel Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay, and that is one of, I would say, my top novels that I've read in the past few years. I was so excited and loved it so much that as soon as I finished, I made co-host read it.
Basically
Fast.
standing over my shoulder.
Yes, I did, because I needed to talk about it.
I couldn't sleep. She whipped me.
So,
like Clockwork Orange, I had my eyelids taped open.
this is going to
It's
be...
amazing, by the way. The book is
Yes,
amazing.
it's an amazing book.
Amazing.
So this is going to be a test, really, for M. Night Shyamalan and my relationship with him.
Yes, which I know he thinks about a lot.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So M.
It's
Night
like
Shyamalan,
Pittsburgh and then you.
M. Night Shyamalan, you could get your own deep dive episode should you pull this one off.
It's a little enticement for you.
Yeah, I know. Please stop AMLing me. I haven't seen it yet. So M. Night is hit or miss for me, but I would say when he hits, he really knocks it out of the park.
Sure
but
does.
when he misses, I'm just really let down.
But I'll say for his misses, they are spectacular fit. Like, the guy doesn't do anything halfway.
He doesn't do it halfway.
When
that's for
he
sure.
makes a bad movie, it's usually like a really spectacularly bad movie.
What I will say for the trailer of Knock at the Cabin is if I were to have a trailer for the book, this would be it.
Wow, high praise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have high expectations.
Well, you mentioned, you want to mention who's in it?
Yeah, I'm going to go into that.
Oh.
You don't have to rush me.
Listen, I'm knocking at this cabin.
We're going to get into it. I have a lot to say about
I've
this.
been knocking. Let me in.
So the book and film take place following a couple, Eric and Andrew, and their adopted daughter, Wen. They go to a cabin in the woods for a weekend getaway. Then a man shows up to talk to Wen, and he introduces himself as Leonard. And she tells him his name, and, they become quick friends. And he says that, I need to talk to your dads and come inside your house.
He also says one other thing. I'll never forget. He says, none of what's about to happen is your fault.
Right. And it's a very important job to do, he said. He has a very important job to do.
It's creepy because he's super nice and gentle.
Yeah. Okay. So they're fast friends, and he knocks on the door. The dads won't answer the door. But eventually they get in, and it's a representation of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse because Leonard's with 3 other people. And they sit or trap Eric and Andrew and Wen and tell them about the end of the world is coming. And they need to make a decision about will they save their family or save everyone.
Will they sacrifice willingly one of their own family to save the world, or allow the world to end? And the best part of the book is the like reluctance of the people breaking in. They like really act like they don't want to be doing this.
Right.
It's a very
yeah, and it's a very violent book.
It is. It's got a great cast.
Yeah, so Leonard is going to be played by Dave Bautista, and
yeah.
you'll know Dave Bautista from Guardians of the Galaxy, but he is also was in Blade Runner
2049.
2049.
And in Dune.
Yes.
He is he's got some real chops.
Yeah, M. Night Shyamalan was very impressed by his performance in Blade Runner.
I think he's a very good actor.
49.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Eric and Andrew are played by Ben Aldridge and Jonathan Groff, respectively. And Ben Aldridge is best known for Fleabag and Our Girl, which I'm not familiar with. And Jonathan Groff, of course, was in Hamilton.
And the Mad King George III.
Yes. And he's also on the FBI agent show Mindhunter.
Yeah,
which
David
is
Fincher
really
show.
great, and he's really great in it.
He's very talented, and it's cool to see him in a horror movie.
Kristen Q will be playing Wen, and she plays the adopted daughter of Eric and Andrew, and it's her first acting debut.
Yeah, she looks really cute.
It also stars Rupert Grint from working with Shyamalan on Servant.
Yeah.
And Nikki Amuka Bird, who has a role in Old. So they're both Shyamalan.
I haven't seen that
the
one
Ding
yet.
Dongs.
Yeah, that's one of the. I haven't seen that Old yet, but I'm looking forward to Knock at the Cabin. But I'm there with you. M. Night Shyamalan movies, he either just crushes it or it's like a total disaster.
Every time I see the trailer, what do I say?
Don't fuck this up.
Yeah, I say it right out loud. Don't fuck this up.
Yes, we've been asked to leave the theater several times.
This comes out February 3rd.
Nice. Looking forward to it.
What's your first?
My first recommendation is also a movie. It's called The Outwaters, and that is coming to limited theaters February 9th, and then it will be available through the streaming service Screambox.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, that's I think co-run by Bloody Disgusting. It's pretty new, but they've got some really good stuff on there. Anyway, it's written and directed by Robbie Banfitch, who also stars. It's a found footage film. It's played at a few festivals, and it's gotten a lot of buzz. It's the buzzy new movie of the year in that the trailer is very unsettling and also very ambiguous, but has a lot of quotes in it that tell of like, oh, it's the scariest thing ever. It's a mind fuck. It's this. It's that. The conceit is 4 travelers encounter menacing phenomena while camping in a remote stretch of the Mojave Desert. A filmmaker and basically like a filmmaker and some people, they go out to the desert to make a music video. Mm-hmm. They go missing, and then somebody finds the memory cards and puts it together, kind of like the Blair Witch, how they never found the people, but they found their footage and then pieced it together. So it's apparently a very, very disturbing cosmic horror. It really apparently goes places. I'm purposefully keeping away from too much information because it seems to me like a movie that really benefits from going in a little blind. Mm-hmm. But the trailer you can watch all the way through. It doesn't give away, barely gives away anything. But it looks like a pretty hardcore experience. So I might be watching that one by myself, honestly. I don't know if beloved co-host
directing and who's in it.
Robbie Banfitch. It's directorial debut, I think. It's an indie film. And that's coming out February 9th. The Outwaters. I know found footage can be a little overplayed for some people. I still really enjoy the genre, and I still think that there are stories to be told. So I'm really looking forward to this one.
There's been sort of a new emergence of blending more like social media.
Oh, yeah, like Rob Savage's Host.
No, I mean like showing text and tweets on the screen.
Yeah, Host. That was the Zoom movie.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was who?
Rob Savage.
I thought it was Rob Zombie first.
No,
I was like,
no.
no way.
No,
Yeah, it was pretty good.
He's busy giving us all we've ever wanted with a Munsters reboot and...
Well, the Wednesday reboot is like blowing everything out of the water right now, so...
Has nothing to do with Rob Zombie.
No, but reboot.
Sure.
All right. Well, that was definitely a way to end that commentary. But I have another movie.
Oh.
For some reason, I apologize. I got immediately, as soon as you were talking about your last recommendation, I immediately got hit with a sinus infection.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
that
it
happened
was
so
like
quickly.
A 24-minute sinus infection.
Usually it takes 24 hours.
Yeah. So my next recommendation is a movie called Baby Ruby.
Oh, okay.
And it's about a vlogger influencer named Joe.
Oh God! Even that term, that fucking word. I can't believe that there's something called an influencer. I mean, how long do you think it's going to be until we're looking back at influencers and being like, Jesus, what were we doing?
I mean, they make a lot of money.
No,
which is the weird
I
part.
get it. It's just, sorry.
It's like, how many people have you influenced today?
Influenced. It's so weird. Like, why not just call them
salesmen and
cult
women?
Leaders? Yeah, like
no, they're sales.
It's it's all
sales.
marketing and bullshit.
So
Influencer.
she's involved with French lifestyle marketing and bullshit, according to co-host
Le Maire de Shit Bull.
And it's played that role is played by a French actress who I probably am not going to pronounce her name correctly. So it's Nomi Merlant.
Okay.
And she's married to Kit Harington.
In the movie.
Yes.
Yes.
In the movie, he plays her husband.
John Sneer.
So she's pregnant and they're waiting for the arrival of their first child and getting excited. And then as soon as she has the baby, something really feels off. There's a disconnect between her feelings of being a mom and caring for the child. And she feels like there's something wrong with this child. She doesn't understand why everybody in the neighborhood, all the moms, like in the mom group, are doing so well. And they want to be her friend. You know what that's like
when, they just like other women, even though they're not friends with you, they just sort of activate.
Well, they are desperate to be her friend.
Yeah.
So she doesn't understand why. There's this like weird sort of dreamlike disconnect. And she feels all of a sudden that everything is a threat around her.
Yeah.
So she starts to get really paranoid that something's going to happen to herself and her baby. And then,
nice.
As it goes on, you'll start to see, is this all in her head, or is there actually something that is trying to hurt her and her baby, or take her baby, or sacrifice her baby?
This is one that I wasn't even really familiar with. You turned me onto it, and we watched the trailer, and wow. I'm really looking forward to it also. It looks awesome.
Yeah. There's an actress called Meredith Hanger. She plays one of the neighborhood moms, and she was in this really awesome show that I think was super underrated on HBO called Search Party.
Right. Yeah.
With Alia Shawkat.
Oh, yeah.
She played Portia, this like hilarious actress, rich, family moneyed person.
I've been noticing that character popping up in a lot of genre work lately. Like, it's funny because it's like I think we're just collectively like getting tired of that person, so we keep writing them into a character into like murder movies.
Well, also now we have the influencer, lifestyle vlogger.
Yeah, that's been popping up a lot in genre films too.
So Baby Ruby, it looks like it's a under the radar movie, and it comes out February 3rd.
Oh, right around the corner.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You want to take a quick break and then we'll come back with your next recommendation?
That sounds great. I guess if I had to put a silver lining on the pandemic, it'd be that many of us have started cooking more at home. but social distancing sure does make it tough to get the organic meats you need to make the demons in your mind stop screaming. And oh, how they scream. Yeah, sure, you'd love the convenience of a meal delivery service, but there's never been anything that appeals to your very specific dietary requirements. That is, until now. Introducing HelloFlesh, a pre-planned meal delivery service for Wendigos, fancy cannibal sophisticates, or your all-American hillbilly nightmare family. Each week with HelloFlesh, you'll get a box of all the ingredients you'll need to make a variety of delicious human-based meats. Choose from assortments such as nosy neighbor foie gras, roast runaway, and pan-seared no one will miss them. Every box of HelloFlesh is designed to suit a variety of finicky people eaters. Just follow the enclosed directions, then immediately burn them and any other evidence. Discreet, drip-free packaging guaranteed, and we'll kill and disappear your postman at no extra cost. HelloFlesh, the pre-planned meal box for the taboo gourmand on the go. This is a fake ad for a fake product on a horror-themed podcast. We do not condone nor endorse eating people. Okay.
All right, what do you got going on next?
For next season, I'm going to recommend a video game.
Oh.
And it's one I've been looking forward to for a very long time. It is Sons of the Forest. It's coming out for PC, probably consoles at a later date, but on February 23rd, it's coming to PC from End Night Games. It's a Canadian developer.
Night Shyamalan games?
End Night. No, not to be confused.
Oh.
But it's a Canadian developer. They did this is a sequel to a game called The Forest, which it's a real favorite of mine. It's it's a little hard to describe. It's a resource management, base building, survival crafting horror game.
What now?
Yeah, exactly. So in the first game, you play this character. It's all first person point of view. You crash land on a weird island with, basically nothing. And you have to scrounge and gather resources to build a home, a shelter, a base. And you discover you're not alone on this island. This island is very much inhabited by weird mutant cannibals. Some of them are more or less human. Others have tons of extra arms and legs sprouting all over the place. They're really scary. And one of the best things about the original game was the AI behind the enemies was so sophisticated. They had behavioral patterns, and sometimes you would just, you'd be chopping down a tree to make, a bedroom or something for your new base. And you just hear a snapping twig behind you, and suddenly there's a mutant that's just watching you.
Oh, that's cool.
It's not attacking. If you're run around waving your weapon, they get scared and they might run away. But if you're unarmed, they'll come closer and they'll be more aggressive. It's that kind of, it's very reactive. And the effect that it had is just scares the shit out of you. It's really intense. So it's just got all of the elements that I really like, and everything had a very weighty feel to it. It's not like Minecraft where you're just punching trees and collecting stuff. You have to swing the axe and, pick things up, and everything felt like it had weight and heft to it. It's really, really good. So Sons of the Forest, coming February 23rd, basically just looks like it improves on every aspect of the original. It just looks... In this one, you've got an AI partner who can help out with some of the more grindy elements of the game. His name is Kelvin. And, it's another mystery. You crash land over, I guess, the same island or a different one. I'm not sure. But it's, from all the previews and everything I've seen, it's basically just a bigger, better version of the first game, which is fine by me.
Is it the same character?
No, it's a different character this time. I think this time the difference is the first game you were just a normal guy looking for his son. And there's a whole wild mystery that you have to unravel that I'm not going to tell you about because it's pretty nuts. And there is a choice-based ending. You can have a different ending based on decisions you make. So this game has everything. And in this newer one, Sons of the Forest, you play a special operative of some sort and your helicopter crashes. So I wonder if that makes you more resourceful in this game. I don't know. But I I'm so looking forward to it. Sons of the Forest.
Awesome.
Yeah.
When does that come out?
February 23rd. It's been delayed several times, but
Uh-oh.
it seems like it's going to stick to this this release date. So can't wait.
Great. You know what next I'm looking forward to in February?
I don't.
You.
Oh, well, I'm right here.
No, not you.
Oh.
The show You.
Oh.
Season 4, Part 1.
Right.
Coming out February 9th.
Right. The further adventures of Gossip Girl.
If Gossip Girl,
Isn't it the sequel show officially?
if Penn Badgley's character in Gossip Girl ended up becoming a serial killer, maybe.
Yeah. Or spoilers. It's if Penn Badgley's character was slightly less psychotic than he was in Gossip Girl.
I don't think he was psychotic.
I think after the end of the series and you find out everything that's happened, he is a straight up nut job.
Lonely boy.
Crazy person.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he loves
the
play
character, not
the New
I'm
York
sure
Lonely
Mr. Badgley
Boys.
is wonderful.
Yeah, he is.
You.
I mean, from what I hear. So, so the last time we saw Joel Goldberg, Penn Badgley's character, he was in the streets of Paris watching this former employer, played by Tati Gabriel, Marianne. She was the librarian boss that he had. And so he's like stalking her in Paris after he murdered his wife, Love Quinn, played by Victoria Pedretti, at the end of the last season.
From Bly Manor and Hill House. And,
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Good
and
stuff.
gave away his baby and faked his own death.
Yikes.
And so now he's in Paris stalking, up to his old tricks again, aren't we? He's changed his name. He's now going by Jonathan Moore. He moves to London and he essentially is a professor and falls in with this Gossip Girl type rich privileged crowd.
What did I tell you?
And now he's the one that's being stalked and a murder takes place that is not his doing. So it's sort of a whodunit mystery along with who's going to do it to him or who's he going to do it to. And by doing it, I mean slashing him to death.
So the you has become the me.
It's all inside of you. I was with you all along. Hello, you. That's what he says. And that's how it goes because it's narrated by him.
Hi, my name is you.
And it's it's poppy. I love it.
Yeah.
Penn Badgley's a really dynamic actor.
I haven't watched it, but I've heard great things.
You know, he's fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if Gossip Girl took a serial killer turn, I think you have you. And by you, I mean you actually, Richard.
Oh, got it. Yes, that does make sense. Describes me pretty well.
So that's coming out on February 9th, Part 1.
Sweet. Yeah, so my last recommendation is a book. It's actually 2 books.
Me too. Mine is also.
2 books too?
Wow, you said you were going to cut that the first time, and then you went exactly down the same route.
And you know what? Worth it, and it worked.
I guess. Yeah,
Gold.
2 books also, as in addition to, as well, as also as such.
We're professionals. So that's amazing, and I'm going. The first book I'm going to recommend is The Destroyer of Worlds, A Return to Lovecraft Country by Matt Ruff. Now, yes, it is a sequel to Lovecraft Country, which was a novel that became a very, very popular HBO series for 1 goddamn season. And that's all we get. 1 season. I'm not at all bitter about that.
Should have watched it.
It's really good.
I'm talking to you.
I did
out
watch
there.
it. Oh, yeah, I know.
The world of listeners.
It actually wasn't due to low viewership. I think there was some behind-the-scenes drama that may or may not. But you know what? Whatever. So the original Lovecraft Country was a great book. It's a really good series. It kind of introduced us to Jonathan Majors. It was like his breakout role, and now he's in everything.
Yeah, he is.
So the sequel, it comes out February 21st. Now, it takes place in the summer of 1957. Atticus Turner, from the first book, and his father, Montrose, are on the road. They're traveling to North Carolina, where they plan to mark the centennial of their ancestors' escape from slavery by retracing the route he took into the Great Dismal Swamp. I don't want to read the whole synopsis of it. I just want to say that...
We'll talk a little bit more about it.
I will. So anybody who's read the first book knows that it was largely Atticus's search for his father. So this book is, the two of them together. There's more of that dynamic. I am assuming, I haven't read it yet, it hasn't come out yet, but I'm really looking forward to this because the first novel was a lot of fun, and it sort of it kicked off, or is at least an integral part of this new reclamation of Lovecraft that has been happening over the past few years. H.P. Lovecraft is a couple of things at the same time. One of the greatest creators of modern horror, and a virulent racist and xenophobe. So, like any piece of art with a complicated creator, you have to make a decision. How much of this do I enjoy? How much am I able to separate the art from the artist? What's been happening lately with authors like Matt Ruff, like Ruthana Emrys, Victor Laval's Ballad of Black Tom, people revisiting Lovecraft stories through a racial lens, a modern racial lens.
Right.
And it sort of serves a dual purpose of, reclaiming this art, which, I would make the argument that once that you've put something out there, it's not really yours anymore. It belongs to the sort of collective. You put it out to the world. That's a tricky... You can go back and forth on that. How much control over it does the artist have? It's easier when the person's dead, which old Howard Phillips has been for quite some time. So anyway, just sort of revisiting these works through a different critical lens. The other side of it is we're getting great new stories inspired by Lovecraft's other great strength, which was coming up with really cool, cosmic, scary fucking stories. So Destroyer of Worlds, A Return to Lovecraft Country, coming to you by Matt Ruff. It's coming later this month. The other book that I want to quickly recommend is a nonfiction book called The Black Guy Dies First, Black Horror Cinema from Fodder to Oscar.
I just saw this, actually.
Yeah. Okay, the reason...
Listed, coming out in February.
The main reason I'm excited about this is it's coming to us from Dr. Robin R. Means Coleman and Mark Harris, who were the creators behind the incredible documentary Horror Noir, which is on Shudder. Horror Noir just explores Black contributions to horror cinema. Movies like Ganja and Hess, Night of the Living Dead, Blackula, like the whole, it's really awesome. Now, this is like a journey from the beginnings of Black representation in horror movies, which was largely in sort of servant roles and menial roles or as entertainers, into this cliche that occurred where it became so widespread that it became a stereotype. The black guy in the horror movie was definitely not going to make it to the end. Mm-hmm. And now to the modern day where Black creators are straight up winning Academy Awards for horror movies.
Absolutely.
So it's quite a journey. We're going on it from the creators of Horror Noir. I can think of no better people to take us on that journey. This is a book that you buy. It's not one I'm going to get out of the library. I want this one on my shelf. It's coming out February 7th, and it is The Black Guy Dies First. Really looking forward to that. So those are my book recommendations. I can read. I can.
I know you can.
Do it all the time.
So my last recommendation is going to be a little strange.
Things?
And because I'm not really going to tell you about the book I'm recommending, I'm going to talk about the first book in the series, because if I tell you about the second, then it's going to spoiler alert.
The second. It's going to spoiler alert the second one?
Yeah.
Wait. Are we in a time loop?
No, it'll spoil alert the first.
Understood.
So if I tell you about the second, like I tell you with the synopsis,
yeah,
it will ruin the first.
Exactly.
And if you want to ruin it on your own, you can.
No, it's like watching Star Wars without watching the prequels first. I mean, if you don't watch the prequels first, you don't know about the complicated trade negotiations that make the plot of most of those movies.
This is a real, actual, important situation.
Understood.
So the book I'm recommending is Don't Fear the Reaper by one of my new favorite authors. Of my recent discovery of him is Stephen Graham Jones.
Oh, yeah.
That comes out February 7th. And he, for those who don't know, wrote probably my favorite book of last year, that I read last year anyway, is Only Good Indians.
Yeah.
So this actually, Don't Fear the Reaper, is part 2 of the Indian Lake trilogy. So there's 3 books promised in this. And Don't Fear the Reaper is the second. The first was called My Heart is a Chainsaw, and it came out in March of 22.
That is a rad title.
Yes, and it was like right before we did our podcast, started doing our podcast. So we didn't actually have March recommendations last year.
No, but we will this year.
Yeah, so I never really got to recommend this. So I'm going to tell you what My Heart is a Chainsaw is about.
Got it.
Because it's book 1 in the Indian Lake trilogy. And then just know that the story continues on in Don't Fear the Reaper.
Oh, that's awesome.
So My Heart is a Chainsaw is about Jade Daniels. She's playing the main character. She's half Indian. She's an outcast, and she has an abusive father and a mother that's never around. She lives in a town called Proof Rock, and she basically creates her own world and creates her own, she like narrates the history of the town within the book. And so she just creates like a way to cope with her being an outcast, and also with, you know, the loneliness and this sort of trap that she feels, like these big feelings she feels in this town of Proof Rock.
As an incredibly cool, popular person, that's really not relatable to me at all.
She uses horror movies as an
again,
element to do this.
I mean, I played football and did sports.
She discovers that like there's a murder that actually happens in Indian Lake, and she starts to tell us how it's going to unfold. She tells us how the plot will unfold. She basically predicts it based on her, they call it encyclopedic knowledge of horror movies. So she uses all of that to essentially solve what's happening.
Oh, okay. Is it kind of like a Scream vibe a little bit?
Yeah.
I always felt like that would be my contribution, is I could tell everybody how to kill Freddy.
Yeah, I mean, this book is essentially her story, and I believe the second one,
#herstory,
the serial killer, the serial killer that has been killing in Indian Lake or Proof Rock, has come back.
Oh,
in the second book,
something
Jade
you don't
also
want a serial
comes
killer
back
to do
in the second book. So I just didn't want to spoil, because the summary or synopsis does actually spoil like the ending of the first book. So I would start with My Heart is a Chainsaw. Hurry up and read it. And then if you can read it by February 7th, you can go right into Don't Fear the Reaper.
And if
not,
not,
you're welcome.
If not,
yeah.
I don't know. I had nothing. No follow up.
Jesus Clarises. I'm pretty sure that the second book takes place on Friday the 13th also.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like a Friday the 13th vibe. Plus, I think it has, Jason Voorhees vibes.
Yeah, for sure.
Lake and...
He's an incredibly talented writer and not afraid to get graphic, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah, Stephen Graham Jones.
Yes,
I was like,
nasty
wait,
shit.
Jason Voorhees doesn't write books.
Camper! Smack kill.
So
with his soggy brain.
That's what I'm looking forward to and what's coming.
That's awesome. I think I've made it no secret that I hate February because it's cold and dark, but with this much fun stuff to do, it might not be that bad. A few bottles of red wine.
As we mentioned at the top, there's a lot of things to celebrate within this month.
Yeah.
And you should.
Happy February, everybody.
Take care.
Enjoy.
Be wary. Terror in Tandem is written, produced, and recorded by Laura and Richard Mathiasen, and edited and mixed by Richard Mathiasen. Our theme was written and performed by Carrie Denver, and all other music was written and performed by David Hispanic. All opinions expressed on this podcast are our own and should be taken as such. Thanks for listening, and please remember to give us a like, a review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. We're